Hello and welcome back, everybody, for another episode of Draft Day Sports College Basketball 2020. We are getting ready for our second season. We are in the middle of July. We are identifying our top recruits. Kerry Weber is our number one target right now. He's a five-star recruit. I really like his athleticism, his scoring, and defense. I think he'd be a great asset to our team as we get ready to move forward with our program. So I'm just basically going to really hammer in some phone call stuff, some time with him, find out different things. I know he really likes the school location, and he's from Atlanta, so that really helps us being in the Southeast. So I think we're just going to try to, put as much effort into that and really drill that home with him, because that's one of our biggest strengths. We do not have the team prestige as maybe some of the other recruits or the other schools that we're going after Weber. So I think we got to go after with what we do have. So real quick, if you guys like this series, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, just to make sure you're staying locked in on this series and all the other stuff that we got going on with the YouTube channel here. And I'm still trying a little bit with Larry Burks, just because I think he'd be a huge difference maker in our program. His numbers are ridiculous, and if we were able to get someone like this in our team, I think it would certainly really help. But I also want to be cognizant of the fact that it is a long shot, so I don't want to just stick with him if it's not going to work out. Make sure we drop in on David Vershaw as well. He's one of the top players in Florida, so we definitely want to stay with him. Jim Oliver, I really like his shooting ability, and we don't have much phone call left time with him, but just basically trying to add in some extra time with our recruits. I've found that it really helps, if you just put in that time with guys, and we have so many recruits that we need to sign. But Jacob White is our new point guard target. Shout out to William for dropping in the comments. I asked last episode if there are recruits that you guys see, and same way with you guys watching this one, if there are recruits that you see on the board that you think that would be a good ones to go after, because sometimes I miss guys, but William dropped in that he thought Jacob White would be a good player. He really liked the assist being up really high and looking at him. So we are going to go after him and see how that works out. These are the recruits we've offered so far. We are not getting anywhere with Harper here. And we're going to go ahead and take that scholarship back. We have 6 to offer, so this is a huge recruiting class for us. So we've got to make sure it's a couple things. We got to make sure we get quantity. We got to get a couple guys there. And let's just go ahead and offer Jacob White here. And let's move forward with him. So I like that he's, again, the area he's from. And taking a look at our assistant coaches with our number one assistant is pretty good. His recruiting ability is a 3-star, so that's okay. So that's why I have him focused on recruiting. And then Fisher focused on scouting and Courtney at practice stuff. So taking a quick look at some of the things here as we move along. And this is the big one. There's a lot of camps over the summer, but the Memphis Hoop Summit is the biggest one for us because it is that Southeast. And Frank Danielson, he's the guy that we've been looking at. So we got MVP of the camp. And Daryl McMaster is another one that we've been paying attention to. So no surprise to see those names up there, along with Kerry Weber, our number one target. So that's a good sign. Just taking a look at some of these guys here. I remember Matt Marquis, he was a guy that's also really good, so I wasn't surprised to see him. And if you guys are new, so basically a few things coming up right now that I'm a little concerned with, and it's not that we don't have a commitment yet. I think that will come. I'm not worried about that based on how last year's recruiting cycle went. I think we are getting close on some guys. Man, Weber would be nice. Like a scoring ability. So we're just going to keep recruiting. But the concerns are right now for me is the budget is really low. I am definitely not doing this next year on next year's recruiting cycle. And really, I am only going to go heavy on the Southeast recruits. Until we really establish ourselves as a program, I just want to stay in there. And while Florida's had some top level guys, we've just not been able to get them. We've been able to get solid guys out of Florida, but just not that elite level guy. Looking at McMaster here, so many guys. Yanzio Laws was a guy that did really well. Florida, Kentucky, Florida State, so looks like in-state or Kentucky with him. I like the 3 blocks, 3.9 steals. Athleticism isn't great. He's the top recruit out of Florida. And we'll see if anything can work here with him. So basically I put too much money of the budget into the Atlantic East region, and it's not paying off. It's really not worth it. And I thought maybe I would expand the recruiting area, the recruiting base this year with having six spots available, but really it would take a lot of effort to really get those guys. Whereas I really think if we just grab 6 even from the Southeast, because there's a lot of states in there for this game, goes all the way up to Kentucky, obviously Florida, Georgia, but Kentucky's in that region. South Carolina has been pumping out recruits. Arkansas's even in this region. So you see Jacob White here from Alabama, has good size at the point guard spot. I like that. Again, the 9.9 assist stands out. Athleticism, you'd want it to be higher, but that's okay. I like that his scoring and passing are really high, inside and outside as well. His shot blocking is an F, but that's fine as a point guard. You almost would expect it. So we will see how things work with Jacob White. Again, we offered him. And one thing I noticed too, we do have a lot of point guards on our list that I'm looking at. And I know with Robinson, let's go to Vershaw first, but again, Vershaw, Florida State. And then with Brian Robinson, his assists are down only 5, but he's got that 5.1 rebounds. Makes me think he'd be more of a combo guard. He could play the point. He's got good handling as a B. So I like him, and I think it'd be a good fit and a good piece. And I also feel like, a guy like Jacob White, I like that more natural point guard with the passing up. And if you remember, Kerry Weber would be a shooting guard. So White and Weber would be a great backcourt for this class. And then if we're able to get a couple bigs, I'd like that as well. The thing I'm looking for right now is to gain commitments and then work off of that. If we get a point guard, maybe get an upgrade at point guard even better than what we sign, or basically we got to get the class started is the way I look at it. I don't want to be too picky when we need 6. We need to have huge haul and just kind of upgrade, and obviously with 6 you want to kind of balance some sort of guards in post, but I think we'll be fine. Obviously you don't want to bring in 6 guards, but so Rob Butler's a guy that I like too as a point guard. Maybe as that, if we do sign White, then you could grab Butler as well as like that second point guard. That small forward position, I'm really looking at athleticism. I really like the guys that are, that 6'6" to 6'8" range. Okay, this might be interesting. Michael Lane, his athleticism, but he's 7 foot, almost 300 pounds. His rebounding, defense, shot blocking, stealing, all really good. I like that from a center. His inside scoring's good. Actually, Actually, his passing's good. So this guy's only a 2-star, but he's from Miami. He's from Jackson High School. He has Miami #1. I like that. We're going to add him to the board. Maybe a diamond in the rough for us. Only a 2-star recruit. Michael Lane. Yeah, definitely. I wonder if our scouting department is too high on him or other people are too low. So we'll see. I like that he's already has Miami. So essentially, it feels like if we just offer him, he'll come. So that's something to keep in mind. And I like that diamond in the rough because, again, you have 6, so maybe you can afford, you don't need to hit on all 6. And he might be a guy that we just offer. Yeah, I really like McMaster. Kentucky, Florida. Up at the top. Florida's up is really, they're really recruiting a lot of the same guys we are. I wonder if they need a big class. We have some guys interest level at the warm spot. We definitely want to get more people there. And Weber's top 10 schools, I don't think that's, when it shows schools like that, I think it's misleading because I certainly think he's a really good player in more schools, or he'll have a different top 10 on an update. Yeah, this was Matt Markey. He was a guy that was really highly regarded. Did well at the Memphis Hoop Summit, so who else? Danielson. His top 10 schools, that's what I want to look at. His stats aren't great, but his ratings are pretty good. And I do like the guys that perform well at those camps. Danielson on board. I'm surprised we didn't already, but and I think, man, that team budget is just staring me right in the eye. Under 7,000 right now. It's definitely not where we want to be. And basically what happened was last year I had a lot left over. So I went way too much over this year. I think it's going to come back and haunt us. And if it does, it does. Hopefully, we can just do the best we can with signing guys. Basically, the budget goes down on the call list. So basically, however many guys you have each week on the call list, if I remember right, I think it's $10 to leave them on the call list, which doesn't sound like much, but when you're looking at a budget issue that we are, I should probably narrow that down. Desmond Cossack. We've offered him, but man, his shot blocking, I do not like that. Passing, handling, not very well. He's not. I remember thinking he's not that special. The reason why he's on the board is because he had Miami high before we even started recruiting him, and he's from Florida. Once again, he could be that secondary guy with first shot. But honestly, even though he's a 4-star recruit, that Michael Lane guy from Jackson. Plus, I like that he's a local. I actually like Lane better. But anyways. And again, the big thing with recruiting in basketball is you are trying to find those starters, those perennial, those top 5 guys on your team, the starters, the guys that will start multiple years. That's the biggest thing you're looking for. So when you recruit, you're hoping these guys make impacts. You're not looking for, you get 13 scholarships. You're not looking for 13 impact players. That's a reach. That's a stretch to a bit optimistic. So what you're looking for is to really identify those guys that can really help your team and play the majority of the minutes. And so you just kind of keep trying to keep stacking it. You're trying to find, again, if you bring a point guard in, a 4-star point guard in every year, for example, eventually you'll find your starter, is the way I'm looking at it. Rob Homer. That athleticism, even when they're a C, it bothers me a little bit, but Lanahan Blake. See, this is what I like. So athleticism A, defense is only a C. But I'd like athleticism, defense B there for that small forward spot. It's just kind of what I prefer. But he's also a scorer. Sanders is a guy that did really well at the Big Apple Showcase, the last showcase event. And Homer being a Virginia guy. And yes, for those curious, Rylan is still in charge of Virginia Tech, and he's hammering away on recruiting. I'll do an update with him soon. We're just trying to get through this summer. Man, there's some good players, but man, I just think we're way... I don't feel like they're that interested in us. So we got Jacob White set up for a visit. Oliver's a guy competing, but he's from Kentucky. Kentucky's his number 1 school. Louisville's number 2. I see Western Kentucky in there too. But one thing I learned last recruiting cycle is that doesn't necessarily mean that's where they're going to end up. Because I remember thinking there was a guy that I think it was a guy from Knoxville, Tennessee. Wanted to stay close to home. Really good recruit. I thought he was just definitely going to go to Tennessee, and then he didn't, and it made me think like, well, maybe he wanted to stay in the area but didn't need to stay in the exact hometown. So that's why I'm sticking with Oliver here. And I know, based on his stats, clearly looks like he's just a shooter. Outside scoring is an A, inside's a D, and he doesn't do much else, but I'm looking at him as like a really quality bench guy that can knock down threes when he's in there. And I'm okay with recruiting a guy like that. Gotta stick with that school location. Man, kind of a short call with Weber there. But he is definitely going to know that we would like to have him on board. Let's see if this works. You can call him right back. Again, just trying different things, sticking with school location. And I do like, you guys have seen, I just kind of will drain down that phone call time on one or, a few guys, kind of go all out on them. And that will be, I kind of just want to, I feel that way because I think we've got room. We definitely have to make an impact. Rashad, we're still sitting third. Wish his defense was a little bit better, but it looks like a good scorer. rebounding is an A, so that's good. Which makes sense if he's got the 16 rebounds a game in high school. So yeah, we are looking at that right at the end of July here. As we wrap this up, and hopefully that, once we get to September is when it opens back up with we're able to do in-home visits. I think that's when maybe we start to see some commitments. I'd like to get a commitment or two before then. Looking at the Atlantic East region here again, we are just not making an impact. So Rivera looks like he's the only one showing a little bit of interest in the Hurricanes. A guard with D athleticism, so that's not great. Man, no interest. Gotta go all the way down here to Faulkner. He's a 4-star guy, so that's good. Okay, athleticism, that's good. Defense is good. So outside shooting. Inside's a C, but that's okay. I'm okay with that for a guard. He's a shooting guard, so got a little bit of interest there. A lot of 4-stars in the area, so maybe that is good. If we can just get a couple of them turn over to cool interest, maybe kind of build from there. But what I don't want to do is, only 2 guys. What I don't want to do is, even though I feel like, I put all this time and effort or a lot of money in the budget into the Atlantic East, I don't want to feel like I have to just stick it out and try to make it a benefit. Look, if it's not working out, then I'm going to count it as a loss and move on. Sanders was a guy that did well at that Big Apple showcase. Let's see if there's anything here. I always like seeing the stats, but this is good too with the ratings. And you're hoping that evaluations from your staff, from the Gold Report, from the Gold Report is good. So Steve Harper, again, the athleticism like that. I'd really like to get a defensive-minded guy. Athletic defender, I think that would be great for our team. Again, whether it's a power forward or a small forward, I'd kind of like to get that. So the evaluation, these guys are A's overall. Looking at the athleticism, so that's an A overall with A athleticism. Trying to look for that combination. In addition to the defensive rating, so Elon Robinson. Athletic, good defender, kind of just a solid player, is A in scoring, so he's one to watch. Blake was the guy that stood out to me before. Kevin Williams, A athleticism, B on defense. Good size. So he's got the shot block and stealing. I really like in the scoring. Man, this guy's a good player. 22 points a game in addition to really good defensive ratings. It's kind of what I'm looking for with that forward spot. Again, I'm hoping we have a score down low with our freshman Mike Howard, top 50 recruit the year before. And yeah, so if you guys are curious, so the way I'm looking at the starting 5 right now, I'm looking for Wong, Beverly, Timberlake, Mike Howard, the freshman, and then it looks like Dane Gack at center. Those are our starting 5, the way it's looking. But we've got those guards that can provide a boost. Hopefully, guys Guys like Ja'Kai Robinson, Poplar, and Bensley Joseph. He has really good ratings as well. We'll wrap this thing up with the recruiting over the summer, but definitely thank everybody for watching. Shout out to William once again. Thank you for subscribing. You can follow me on Twitter at InsideTheU. For more information on the Hurricanes, check out InsideTheU.com.